Hi. In today's session, we're going to talk about some of the new features in Business Application Studio for CV modeling. These features are provided only in Business Application Studio and they're not available in WebID or HANA Studio. And the features I'm talking about are not specific to or not related to database or CV capabilities. It is more of documentation purpose and also making the developer to work faster in BAS environment. Let's take a look at these features in the system. The first one I'm going to look at is comments in filter expressions and calculated columns. Comments are code comments. In the past, using Eclipse or Studio or WebIDE, we don't have an option to write comments for the expressions that we are putting in the system or in the calculation view. We could write the comments in the code, full code base objects like stored procedures or functions, but not in the graphical CV modeling. Sometimes it is getting difficult to understand the reasons behind having that formula or the expression in the CV modeling, unless we have a detailed documentation stored somewhere outside. And it is always not going to be the case in many places. So with that documentation of what is reason behind the filters and expressions attached to the CV is a nice thing that developers can have and have a better maintenance in the future. Let's take a look at how the system is accepting the expressions that has comments. I'm going to open a CV and go to a projection and try to apply a calculated column. I have calculated the discount as the calculation of gross amount, and I wanted to write something on top of it. I could write the formula definition here, or I can also mention the ticket number that is associated to this change and etc. And this could be a very useful thing for the other developers to look at it and understand what's being put in there. You can also put the comments in the filter expression. For example, if I wanted to put a filter on this projection, I can go to the filter expression, can write, bring the column from the place, and then I just add country USA. And then on top of it, or even in the bottom of it, I can add comments with the /, said country USA is chosen by default all the time. And whatever written in these comments is not going to get compiled, and the system will not process those lines. And I say apply changes and then go back. So in this way, I can apply comments in the expressions wherever they are written. Could it be filters, calculated columns, any formulas, and etc. The other feature I'm going to talk about is propagate semantics with the column name changes. In the past, we don't have an option to change the column name seamlessly all the way up to the semantics. So what happens when after changing the column name, you can propagate the semantics of the new column name. At the same time, we're going to have the previous column name map and exist in the calculation view all the way to the above. And it gives a lot of inconsistencies if you don't adjust them correctly. So I can show you how it is going to be done in the system. So for example, if I go to the right table and get to the semantics, sorry, the mapping, and see that the region is not there. Our country is already mapped and it's already propagated all the way to semantics. Let's say if I wanted to change a column name to something else, what's going to happen? Let's say country and put the region. And this is the new name I have given. As soon as I put the name change, it doesn't affect in the next notes of the CV. So what I can do I can put a propose semantics option, and then it will automatically replace and adjust the mappings for country with the country region call. Wasn't happening in the past. So what happens, it would in the past or in using Web IDE or HANA Studio, what we can do is to create a new semantic or new propagate semantics for this column, but couldn't replace the existing column with the changes that I made here. So right now, I'm going to do propagate to semantics. You can see this, the element country is renamed in all the nodes and adjusting the name with the name that I changed in the bottom. So this is going to be a really helpful feature to adjust the mappings, especially when you're working in the older IDEs. This wasn't possible. So I can do that. And then it got changed to all the levels. And you can see the semantics also got updated with the column name change. Can go back and put it to the country and then do that. But it doesn't make a change automatically, but I can apply the propagate to semantics, which will make the changes seamlessly. And it's going to be a something that we need to consider here is if there are any downstream CVs that are being used this column, they're going to get affected. So we may have to make sure that those columns got changed the name of or properly taken care in the downstream CVs as well. And the next topic that that I wanted to talk about today is the data preview. For example, if I go here and wanted to see the data preview for the node, I can right click and choose data preview. That's going to go to the default data preview behavior that we've been seeing. And there are other two options, data preview with other database user. This is going to come very useful, especially when we wanted to grant some authorizations to the database user in production and target to the production container or production database schema and access the data. We're going to look at this topic in the next session. I wanted to show the SQL editor data previews. If you click on this SQL editor, um, and then it gets to the intermediate view creation called, and it's going to be DB Explorer SQL console page invoked. And then you can see the SQL prepared for the projection that I'm looking at. And then you can run the SQL to get the output of the projection node. So this is the SQL prepared for the projection 3. So you can adjust the SQL accordingly and get the data output. That's what I wanted to cover for this short session. And thank you for listening. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.